Okay, the last one on your homework before you get to the dot plots, it asks you to draw an ogive. That is a graph of segments that keep a cumulative frequency total as you go. The columns that you're going to need to look at are your class boundaries column and the very last column, cumulative frequency. Also, we're going to have to, it's very tedious, and so we're going to select a line, the one with the two closed dots, the segment. In your class boundaries, you start with the upper left one, 235.5 and 0. Then you move over to 260.5 and 4. Now you can just ballpark these, they don't have to be exact. But your first dot will be the very first class boundary and 0. And then the upper class boundary of that same row is 260.5. And the far right, we have a cumulative frequency of 4. If you click on segment 1, you can fine tune these points. So that's why I was saying just ballpark them with your finger. We have 235.5 and 0. And then we have 260.5 and 4, which was our first cumulative frequency. Okay, once that one's set, go back, hit that line again, pick segment again. Now our second row, the upper class boundary is 285.5 and a cumulative frequency of 13. So we're going to start where we finished here. Whoops. It's hard to do this on an iPad. I'm just going to have to modify them in here. Okay. So we left off at 260.5. And a cumulative frequency of 4. We want this to end at 285.5. And the next cumulative frequency was 13. Goodness gracious. Hopefully it's easier to do this on your PC. See, 285.5. Okay, that one should be good. Third row, select segment, start where we finished, or just ballpark it again. Third row, the upper class boundary is 310.5 and 38. Again, just get it close. You can fine tune it in the points here. Okay, so 285.5 and 13. And then we want this one, that's the third row, to end at 310.5 and 38. All right, now the fourth row, just kind of click on where you left off. Pick another one up here. Let's fine tune it. The fourth segment is the fourth row. Upper class boundary in the fourth row is 335.5. 335.5. And that left off at 38. And then, wait a minute, 310. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so now I've got it connected to the end of the previous one. And then in the fourth row, we have 335.5. Cumulative frequency over there is 54. And then finally, the fifth segment matches the fifth row of your table. The upper class boundary in the fifth row is 360.5. Again, we're just start and stop. Just get you a segment in there and you can fine tune it over here to the right. All right, so this one is 335.5. And 54. And then the ending point is, for the fifth row, 360.5. And our final cumulative frequency was 57. And so that is the long process of drawing an ogive on WebAssign. I'm going to go ahead and check this answer while we're together. And let's hope we get a green check mark. There it is. We got a green check mark. It's always a good sign. Let's do hit number 5 while we're here. And we'll go ahead and upload this one along with that ogive. Now, the parts above the ogive are on your first YouTube video, so this will be YouTube video number 2. Number 5, another display technique that's somewhat similar to a histogram is a dot plot. In a dot plot, the data values are displayed along the horizontal axis. A dot is then plotted over each data value in the data set. Basically, every time there's a count, like the 700 in this, for each little point, like a 699, if there's 4 of them, you would get 4 dots above a 699. It's just a kind of a tally mark for each score. Okay, the figure below shows a dot plot generated by Minitab for the number of licensed drivers per 1,000 residents by state, including the District of Columbia. Part A, from the dot plot, how many states have 600 or fewer licensed drivers per 1,000 residents? So we zoom in, 600. There's only 1 dot to the left of it. So there's 1. Part B, about what percentage of the states out of 51 seem to have close to 800 licensed drivers per 1,000 residents? Close to 800. There's 5 of them out of 51. So what we'll do is 5 divided by 51 times 100 to make it a percent. I'm getting 9.8, and so that's what I'm going to put in here. Consider the intervals 550 to 650, 650 to 750, and 750 to 850 licensed drivers per 1,000 residents. In which interval do most of these states fall? I would have to claim the middle one. From 650 to 750, you have the most dots. And so that's the one I would choose. Let's submit and check. And hopefully we'll get all 3 green check marks. That's the idea. And we do. Fantastic.